Hey, dear leader. I'm so glad to come to you live for just a few minutes because I have been reading Adam Grant's book, Hidden Potential. He's an organizational psychologist, and I love everything he writes, in particular regarding the difference between character and personality, which is why I named this very short video, Your Character is on the Line, dear leader. So the difference between character and personality, and I love how he describes this so perfectly for us. He writes, character is often confused with personality, but they're not the same. Personality is your predisposition, your basic instincts for how to think, feel, and act, while character is your capacity to prioritize your values over your instincts. Here's what's so interesting. You were hired to lead this department. You were hired to lead this team. Somehow, somewhere during that interview, you answered everything to the interviewer's liking. You checked some boxes for that interviewer or that hiring manager, and you got in. Right. And now your personality is on display. Now everyone gets to see the real you, right? Because oftentimes when we're interviewing, we put on a different face, we put on a different persona. And then here you are now, day in and day out, and we get to see your personality. Now, how many of you have a leader that you report to, or even some of your subordinates, the people that answer to you? You know their personality because you have studied their patterns, you have studied their behaviors. You know when your leader is coming in happy and excited because he's bringing donuts for everybody. You know when that leader when he comes in 30 minutes late, it's because, he woke up on the wrong side of the bed. And so you know that it's going to be a difficult meeting that morning. You have studied their behaviors. This is who they are day in and day out. It is their predisposition, like Adam Grant says. It is your basic instincts for how to think, feel, and act. Of course, I believe that's formed in childhood and then developed over time, right? It is your personality. So for me, my personality is one of skepticism. That's just a natural instinct. It's how I think, it's how I feel, it's how I behave, which is why I went into research as an adult, because then I practiced and reconfirmed that part of my personality, right? I have to, play devil's advocate. I have to see all sides of the equation. I have to find alternate routes. I always have to challenge and disrupt and maybe identify new ways of doing things. So that's part of my personality. It's just who I am. It's not good or bad. It is what it is. So you know your personality, right? Your personality. It's the same personality that you take home at the end of the day. It's the same personality you bring into the organization every morning. It's your personality because you can't divide that part of yourself. You can't separate your personal life from your workplace life. And I know a lot of you are saying, yes, we can. And let me tell you something, unconsciously, you cannot. You are taking the same brain and heart everywhere you go. Your personality goes with you. But character, however, and I love how he says, again, character is your capacity to prioritize your values over your instincts. So your character uh, is based on your morality. It's based on your ethics. It's based on value judgments. So he goes on to say this, the true test of character is whether you manage to stand by those values when the deck is stacked against you. If personality is how you respond on a typical day, character is how you show up on a hard day. So we use character to solve for very challenging, intricate, complicated circumstances in our organizations. Because remember, leader, you were hired to solve problems and create results. So this is your role. This is your primary role as a leader. So your character is on the line every day. Your personality is how you show up, right? It's inherent, it's instinctual, it's how you think, feel, and behave. However, character is when the going gets tough. It's when you have to make those decisions for the team, for the greater good of the organization. You have to use your character to solve for these problems. And this is why I named this very short video, Your Character is on the Line. And so think about the differences between these two things, character and personality. So when I have to make complicated, challenging decisions in my organization, I have to remember the values that my team and I created ahead of time. And this is what I do with a lot of my executive clients, my private executive clients. We talk about forming a values list with the team because you, leader, you have your own values, right? You believe certain things, you have a certain belief system, you have certain ideologies as a leader. But this is a team that we're supporting. So we have to get buy-in from the team, and we do this exercise where we elicit all of our values and we pick the top 5 values, and those 5 values among the team. Remember, everybody has a say in this exercise. Those top 5 values are how we make decisions as a team. This is how we move forward in our mission and vision. This is how we align with strategic plans and goals of the organization, because you're just one department and you have to align with the greater vision of the organization, right? And so when you make that list ahead of time, you understand the team, and every single team member knows, well, these are our values. These values drive every decision we make. These values are the glue of this team. So you can have your personality, he can have her personality, they can have their personality, but what's going to glue us together are the values, because when the going gets tough, and like Adam says, when the deck is stacked against the team, we're going to pull out those values and we're going to prioritize these values over our individual personalities. That's the beauty of using our character to make decisions, not only individually as a leader, but as a team. Because how Adam says, your character is your capacity to prioritize your values over your instincts. So this is going to require some thinking. This is going to require intentional thought work. It's going to require us to pause as a leader and as team members and say, okay, my instinct is to fly off the handle here. My instinct is to get angry. And that's usually my go to emotion. My personality is like, really? Okay, let's go, skeptic. Let me tell you why this is wrong. Let me tell you why you should consider this. And so for me, when I have to make a tough decision, my go-to is usually being upset or being angry. And so that's my personality. So I have to step back and remember, no, I run an organization and I run a team. And I have to put my personality on the back burner or shelf it over here. I put it on the shelf so that I can then stop, intentionally process the challenge, get my team to help me come up with solutions. We're going to collaborate on how to solve for this problem. And we're going to use the values that we created ahead of time to make these decisions. So your individual personalities are not involved in these decisions. It is our character that's showing up to make these very, very tough decisions. This is the difference between character and personality. So, dear leader, your character is on the line. Your personality is just fine. We don't want to change you. That's who you are. That's what makes you unique. That's what makes you authentic. We don't want to change that, any part of you. That's your personality. But your character is what you are being evaluated against. It's your character that's either going to impact how you lead or send you packing. And so I want you to remember character versus personality. Your character is on the line every day. So drop me some insights, some comments, maybe even some questions that you may have about the difference between these two variables, personality and character, and how are you using your character to make very tough, challenging decisions in your department or organization. I want to hear from you. All right, dear leader. And as always, I highly recommend Adam Grant's books. Hidden Potential is the latest one, and I'm devouring it, and it is so good. And he talks more in depth about the differences between these two. So, have a wonderful day, dear leader. Remember, your character is on the line, and I want to hear from you. So, make sure you comment below.